Shalom, shalom. Hope you're doing very, very well. You guys got to check this out. Isn't that gorgeous? All praise to his name who created. Anyways, so it's been said, man shall not live on bread alone, but he shall live by every word of the Most High. So with that, we're going to do a study on a big topic. Exodus 20, he says, you shall not commit adultery. So, with every word of the Most High, we shall be discussing. Get your big boy pants on. Girls, panties up. Let's go. Chats. So, I hope you're well. I really, really do. It's been a wet, soggy mess here the last couple weeks, I'll tell you what. But today the sun is out. The sky is blue. It's clear blue. And I am here talking to all of you. Talking about a hard topic. So these videos that I'm going to be making, and there's going to be a few of them, are really kind of aimed at the newcomer. Somebody new to this walk, new to this faith, new to understanding that to love thy Elohim with all thy heart and all thy soul and all thy mind is to keep his commands. Even our Messiah said, what is the two greatest commands? The two greatest. Well, it is to love thy Elohim and love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two hangs the entire law. So there's little fractionable aspects that lead up to those two things. It's not that all these things don't matter anymore if we just do these and these. How do you do this and how do you do this? Well, it's all these little tiny things down below. So we're going to talk about one of them. Adultery. All men fall short. Okay. If you're a veteran to this walk, you know that all men fall short. And may this be just a good, healthy reminder. Okay. I'm going to be taking a good, healthy walk all the way through the book here. So, grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, and we shall dive in to adultery. Let's start off with Exodus 20:14. 10 Commandments. Fire comes down to the mountain, Moses goes up, Moshe. And has a chat and comes down with a decree for Israel. I want to add that we, being grafted in with the Messiah, are spiritual Israel. One of the commandments is 20:14. You do not, shall not, whatever publication you're reading, commit adultery. Let's get a little context. Let's turn to Matthew 5:6. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. What is righteousness? Righteousness is being in good standing with the Most High. You know, you're measuring up, if you will. You're justified. You would be blessed if you hunger and thirst for such things, right? Knowledge. It takes knowing. Let's go over a little bit, keep in the context of adultery here. Verse 27. You heard that it was said to those of old. We're back at Sinai. You shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that everyone looking at a woman to lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. And this is kind of a two-way street, you know. It's not just him to her. It's also her to him. It's just people. To look at her lustfully, well, that's a condition of the heart, you know. It's said that out of the mouth speaks the heart. Well, perhaps what you gaze in from your eyes is also a condition of the heart. So, and it's tough. It's tough with that, you know. Men, think of this scenario. You're driving your merry way to work. You got your coffee in hand, doing your thing, you know, whatever that may be. And you notice out of the corner of your eye, on the sidewalk there, bounding along is a lovely little doe. She's got lovely hair. She's wearing leggings. I'll say it, she's curvy. And us as men, well, you know. Let me put this thought through you. As you notice her, perhaps she's married. You know? Perhaps she's out there trying to look very good for her own man so that he can keep his eyes on her. I say, you know what, sister? I praise your efforts. I really, really do. That is, I think that's a very righteous thing to do. Keep yourself looking for your own man. Now, is she out on display for the world? Yeah. Yeah, that's the world we live in, isn't it? The world has kind of deluded itself with modesty. So us as brothers gonna have a interior war upon our hands, you know. I would just encourage you to, because we gotta live in the world, right? We are called out of it, but we are to remain in it. Let's switch your thought process for a little bit. Just kind of, that's a good deed she's doing for her own man. Praise Yah. Praise Yah for trying. And that's where it ends. And it doesn't go any further than that. Get your merry way back to work. Let's look at some examples of adultery. And I'm just going to talk about them. I got some notes here. Genesis. Genesis is full of lovely examples for the entire rest of the book. Genesis 6. concerning adultery. The angels came down to mankind to procreate with them, to create their own race of beings. We read in some Apocrypha, if you're into that sort of thing, that many of the women actually flaunted themselves to the angels, saying, hey, I like what I see, come take me. Because it says the angels came down and transformed themselves into figures of men and took wives from whomever they chose. Well, whomever they chose, well, what if you're an angel and you chose a married woman, somebody betrothed? Well, we read in the book of the law, that's adultery on both parts. Both have committed adultery. Sodom, Gomorrah, should I say any more? I mean, that place was destroyed by fire because there was not found not even 10 righteous people in it. Pharaoh and Sarah. Abraham was married to Sarah. Actually, his sister, to a degree I can't recall, but married nonetheless. And they found themselves in Egypt, Mitzrayim. And Pharaoh took one look at Sarah and said, I want her. I want her. Lusted in his heart, right? Now, he didn't know she was married, just like the lady bounding on the sidewalk, looking good for her own man. He didn't know she was married, but took her anyway. And then found out later and was so conflicted that he says, Abraham, Sarah, you must go. And was plagued. Plagued for that. Yaakov's wife, Jacob, and his son, Reuven. Reuven and Bilhah. They had an evening together. Adultery. Potiphar's wife, and Joseph. Yosef kept himself righteous through his entire lockup in Mitzrayim. But Potiphar's wife was like, that's a good-looking man. I want him. Potiphar's wife was a wife. It's adultery, right? Adultery. I firmly believe that these stories are exactly why the law was written. He was watching. And he said, this doesn't work out. We can't have this. So it gets written in the law that people are to obey. For good. It's all for good, you know? Let's go to the law. Let's go to the law. Let's go to Leviticus 20. Start at verse 10 here. And a man who commits adultery with the wife of another man, who commits adultery with the wife of his neighbor, the adulterer and the adulteress shall certainly be put to death. Now our Messiah said that all sins shall be forgiven. But if you continue, well, you have a a scorched conscience at that point. And you shall be judged, right? And there's a list of things. And a man who lies with the wife of his father, and a man who lies with his daughter-in-law, and a man who lies with a male, as he lies with a woman, and the man who marries a woman and her mother, and a man who has intercourse with a beast, and a woman who approaches any beast and mates with it, and a man who takes his sister, and a man who lies with a woman during her sickness. You do not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister, nor your father's sister, and a man who lies with his uncle's wife, and a man who takes his brother's wife. This is all adulteries. And you shall guard all my laws and all my right rulings, and do them, so that the land where I am bringing you to dwell, does not vomit you out. Pretty intense, right? Let's get another aspect of this. Keep it rolling here. Deuteronomy. Devarim. Let's turn to 22. 22. You ever see that on your digital clocks? 222. Anyways. When a man is found lying with a woman married to a husband, then both of them shall die. Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. Thus you shall purge the evil, the adultery, the unrighteousness from Israel. Hosea. And I'm just going to kind of roll on through with the reads here, if you don't mind. Hosea 4, start at 9. And it shall be like people, like priests, and I shall punish them for their ways, and reward them for their deeds. And they shall eat, but not be satisfied. They shall whore, but not increase, for they have stopped obeying Yahweh, the Most High. Whoring and wine and new wine enslave the heart. My people ask from their wood, and their staff declares to them, for a spirit of whorings has led them astray, and they went whoring from under their Elohim. They slaughter on the mountaintops and burn incense on the hills, under oak and poplars and terebinth, because its shade is good. Therefore your daughters commit whoring, and your brides commit adultery. Because of the shade, right? They think they're covered. They think they can't be seen. So their inhibitions get, and they just run. I would not punish your daughters when they commit whorings, nor your brides when they commit adultery. For the men themselves go aside with whores, and slaughter with cult prostitutes. A people that do not understand are thrust down. Though you are a whore, Israel, let not Yahudah, Judah, become guilty. But do not come up to Gilgal, nor up to Beth Hawin, nor swear an oath, saying, as Yahweh lives. ... For Israel is stubborn, like a stubborn calf. Would Yahweh now feed them like a lamb in a broad place? venture to say no. He's going to confine them so he can keep his watchful eye over them. Perhaps. Anyways, let's keep it going. Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs. Proverbs is great, right? Proverbs is like wisdom. First thing about wisdom is you must get wisdom. Chapter 6, 32 through 35. He who commits adultery with a woman lacks heart. It's a heart condition. You know? You're supposed to be committed. If you are committing adultery, you are not committed. He who does it destroys his own life. He finds smiting, and shame. And his reproach is not wiped away. For jealousy enrages a man, and he does not spare in the day of vengeance, judgment. He does not regard any ransom, nor accept your bribe, however great. It's getting a little intense, isn't it? Well, like I said, he's got some ground rules. Do not commit adultery. It's a heart condition. Let's turn to Tehillim, Psalms 1 through 3. Blessed, Baruch, is the man who shall not walk in the counsel of the wrong, and shall not stand in the path of sinners, like to get in line with them, you know, and shall not sit in the seat of scoffers, shall not scoff along with them. But his delight is in the Torah, the law of Yahweh, the Most High. And he meditates on his Torah day and night. It must be a constant thing that we do. You know, we have to constantly be thinking about these things because sin and death is right outside the door. You know, have your spiritual armor. For he shall be as a tree planted by the rivers of water, that yield its fruit in its season, and whose leaf does not wither like this does. It stays. It's on solid ground, right? It's got a big, gnarly foundation. And whatever he does, he prospers. That's lovely. So we must gain wisdom, we must clean our heart, and we must study his Torah, his laws, to get past these brick walls that have been plundering our lives ever since the beginning. Our Messiah said that all sins shall be forgiven, right? But we must try to walk righteously. Let's turn to John really quick. John 8. It's a lovely little thing. And Joshua, it's our Messiah, went to the Mount of Olives, and at dawn he came again into the set-apart place, the temple. And all the people were coming to him, and having sat down, he was teaching them. And the scribes and Pharisees brought to him a woman caught in adultery. And having set her in the midst, they said to him, Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. And the Torah of Moshe commanded us that such should be stoned. What then do you say? And this he said to them, trying him, so that they might accuse him. But Joshua, bending down, wrote in the ground with a finger, as though he did not hear. I think he was having a little communion with himself, trying to recall all the statutes, right? Perhaps. But as they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, He who is without sin among you, let him be the first to throw a stone. And bending down again, he wrote on the ground. And when they heard it, being reproved by their conscience, went out one by one, beginning from the older ones until the last. And Joshua was left alone, and the woman standing in the middle. So all of the scribes and the Pharisees were like, well, we are with sin. And he just said, he who is without sin, cast the judgment stone. They couldn't do it. So they walked out. And Joshua straightened up, and seeing no one but the woman in front of him, said to her, Woman, where are your accusers? Did no one condemn you? And she said, No one, Master. For they all walked off. And Joshua said to her, Neither do I condemn you. But you must go and sin no more. So all sins shall be forgiven. But we must straighten our path and get up and try again. Right? So keep on rolling here. Corinthians 6, 9 through 11. And this is kind of a tough one. You know, this should pretty much, this should kick you in the butt. Do you not know that the unrighteous shall not inherit the reign of Elohim? Do not be deceived, nor those who whore, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor homosexuals, nor thieves, nor greedy of gain, nor drunkards, nor the revilers, nor the swindlers shall inherit the reign of Elohim. And such were some of you. Weren't we all? Right? Weren't we all? But you were washed. But you were set apart. But you were declared right in the name of the Master, Yahushua, and by the Spirit of our Elohim. So since we were made right, we shall be walking right. It's not a license to go back to your vomit. We are a new creation of a circumcised heart, a changed heart. Let's keep going through Corinthians here. 2 is the big one, but let's get some context. And concerning the matters you wrote to me, is it good for a man not to touch a woman? But because of whoring, let each one have his own wife, and let each woman have her own husband. Let the husband render to his wife what is her due, and likewise also the wife to her husband. And the wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. All these, that's a big topic right there. My body, my right. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. Okay? And likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body either. That's for your wife. Do not deprive one another, except with agreement for a time, to give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again so that Satan does not try you because of your lack of self-control. You know, there's all these stumbling blocks around you, but, you know, when the two come together and create a threefold cord, that is a very strong bond. And I might talk about that sometime. And I say this as concession, not a command. If you are one who struggles, perhaps you should pray for a wife. Likewise, woman, for a husband. And have patience. They will come. Hebrews. Still hanging in there with me? Almost done. Hebrews 13:4. Let marriage be respected by all, and the bed be undefiled. But Elohim shall judge those who whore and adulterers. Let your way of life be without the love of silver, and be satisfied with what you have. You know, if you have a family, if you have a wife, if you have love in your life, be satisfied. Don't go traipsing off. Or if you do have a wandering eye, clean your heart. Clean your heart. For he himself said, I shall not leave you or forsake you. He is always with us. And he sees everything. And if you do struggle so much, pray. Fast. Fast it out. He is with you. He will give you strength. Okay? James. Yaakov. It's simple. 4:17. To him then, who knows to do good, and does it not. For you, that is a sin. I think that, that's everything. If you know that you should abstain from something, a little voice in your head, and you go to do it anyway. Let's go back to Matthew 5 on that note. If you are struggling with your own inner thoughts, your desires, if your right eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out. I beg that this is not literal, but put your thinking cap on and give it your best go. If your right eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out and throw it away. For it is far better that one of your members perish than for you and your entire body to be thrown into Gehenna. And if your right hand, men, causes you to stumble, cut it off. Perhaps your right hand, think of it this way too. Your right hand man. Well, if you have a stumbling block in front of you, you should be getting rid of it. Or at least setting up a boundary so that it's not so much of a stumbling block anymore. Cut it off and throw it away, for it is far better that one of your members perish than your entire body to be thrown into Gehenna. Well, it's a beautiful thing, right? It teaches self-awareness. It teaches self-control. On that note, let's turn to Galatians. Galatians 5, 19 through 25. And the works of the flesh. Well, we live in a fleshly world, don't we? Don't we? The works of the flesh are well known, which are these: adultery, whoring, uncleanness, indecency, idolatry, drug sorcery. There's a list here, okay? Hatred, quarrels, jealousy, fits of rage, self-ambitions, dissensions, factions, envy, murders, drunkenness, wild parties, and all the like, of which I forewarn you, even as I did also before, that those who practice such things shall not inherit the reign of the Most High, the kingdom. If you have sin in your heart, you are a worker of flesh. If you have righteousness in your heart, the kingdom is within. So once we purge all these things, then what? Then what? Well, check it out. Keep reading. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, trustworthiness, gentleness, and self-control. That's what we are to focus on. That's what we are to emit. That's what we are to emit out of ourselves, is these things: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, trustworthiness, gentleness, self-control. You know, he says, put away all malice of thinking. Don't get pissed. Don't get pissed at your neighbor. Don't get pissed at the Most High. Don't get pissed at the rule book. Be meek. Be teachable. And emit love. For against such things there's no law. Well, what are we to be judged upon? Well, we're to be judged on the law, but these things aren't to be in the law of judgment. Hoorah, right? Hoorah. And those who are of Messiah have impaled the flesh with its passions and its desires. If we live in the Spirit, the Ruach, let us walk in the Spirit, the Ruach. It's that gift that you got amongst your immersion. You know? Many of you were, immersed in the Father, Son, and the certain Spirit. The Ruach HaKodesh. It guides you. It teaches you. It comforts you. It convicts you. And we're to walk in such things. So, one more thing I want to end off. And man, if you made it this far, Mishpacha, you're down for some hard talks. Let's turn to Revelation. With the end-all be-all, Baruch and blessed are those doing his commands, so that the authority shall be theirs unto the tree of life, and to enter through the gates into the city. But outside of that are the dogs and those who enchant with drugs, right? And those who whore, and all the murderers and the idolaters, and those who love to do falsehood. So, let's clean our hearts. Let's not be in that boat outside of the kingdom. Let's emit love to our Father in heaven and to our neighbor. And before the sun sets on the horizon, I shall get up out of here. So I'll be back. And I hope you can join me for another one of these. Comment in the section. Comment in the comment section if you have any thoughts. Much love.